Hi, everyone. Well, as you know, tonight we are going to be interviewing Paul Murray, and he lives around Lake Huron. Is that correct, Paul?
On the edge of Lake Huron and the St. Clair River, Port Huron, Michigan, right across from Sarnia, Ontario.
Very nice. And we also have, of course, with us the Canadian Hub's own Roger. He is going to be on there for us, moderating. So, guys, be good because he's there, and he'll be joining in too. Hey, Mel, my two Michaels, Michael McReynolds and Michael Grooms, Doug and Debbie Army Mod Squad. Thanks for joining us, and everyone else who comes in. I have no way of knowing on this who's watching or not, but don't forget to hit that like button. So I'm going to start right away because I have a ton of questions, and so if I don't get started, we won't get there. Green patches. Hey, green patches, hold on. Let me see. Where are we on here? There we go. Okay, green patches. Here we go. So, Paul, I'm going to kind of center on you a little bit. So, Paul, tell me, how long have you been part of the drone community?
Well, I started out back in the mid 1980s, simply because when I was younger, I always wanted to fly a real helicopter, but because of my
let me see. Where are we on here? There we go.
because of my
Sorry. It's me.
So, Paul, I'm going to kind of center on you a little bit. So, Paul, tell me, how long have you been part of the drone community, guys?
It's not me.
I started out back in the mid 1980s, simply because when I was younger, I always wanted to fly a real helicopter, but because of my
such a rookie mistake I made.
Sorry.
Okay. I muted before we came on, but evidently it didn't catch, so I just went back and muted it again.
It was me. It was me, guys.
Okay.
Oh, for goodness sake. So, start again. You always wanted to fly a helicopter?
Yeah. I even at a young age, I was the one that went to the carnivals, and mom and dad would pay the money for me to get a helicopter ride, and it was just so fascinating. It was so close to floating, and but I always was the chubby kid, and so the only way I was going to get a helicopter pilot was to get in the military, and I was always a little too chubby for the military, so that didn't work. So in about the 1980s, I decided that radio control had helicopters, and I had a friend of mine that had a radio controlled an RC hobby shop, and so I went and bought my first one, and was just a huge, a top rotor with a tail pusher and a chainsaw motor, and you had to gas it up, fuel it up, and there wasn't any kind of computerized assist or anything. All you had was just basics with the controller, and flew that a little bit, but it was pretty frustrating because you didn't get any help anyway. So I finally got out of that, and then I waited until technology brought out, to the point where just about anybody, if you want to fly, you can fly today. And
so how long did it take? Did you notice it took to get to that technology?
Well, I stopped flying the other one in about 1989, and my first regular helicopter today, a quadcopter, that was a Wakira, and that came out in the late 1990s, early 2000, and so I started going through different models of Wakira brand. Then I switched over and flew. Oh gosh, then I thought, well, I wanted to go bigger is better, and I went to an Align hexacopter, and they were huge, but it was the same type of thing. In my mind, there's two kinds of flyers. There's the ones that just want to fly and just want to take photos and those kinds of things, videographers. Then there's the other ones that want to fly but also don't mind fixing. They see the challenge of, I'm going to solder this and I'm going to put this on and I'm going to do all that kind of the little tinkering things. And that just, I don't have the patience for that. So that's what I found with the great big huge heavy lifters, was you had to buy a separate gimbal from another manufacturer. You had to buy the actual operating system. You had to buy the transmitter. You had to buy the receiver. You had to buy a camera. It all was, you had to make it work. In fact, I remember getting my first Align like on a January day, and I don't think I finally ended up getting it in the air until like March, after I sent it back twice, because they had to tweak it every time. Every time Paul went to make it work.
Wow. Wow. So really quick, I want to say hi to everyone. I see Mel in here, Corey Man, Rolex. Let's see, Lloyd. Hi. I didn't get a chance for a nap. I am so jealous. Rolex Drone Channel. Hello. Michael Grooms. And then Michael McReynolds here earlier. And then we have Donna's Peanut Gallery. It's good to see you. Woof. Woof, woof. And I'm not trying to make that sound. How are you, Woof? Yes, I'm back. And then we have Lena Music. So they're in here now. Guys, you all know the rules. They're the same as the Canadian Drone Hub. No racist stuff, no politics, no no bad language, because my grandson may come on, that kind of stuff. And no.
And remember rule number 4, which Roger just added.
Uh-oh.
Rule number 4, Val, is hit the like button.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Jacqueline, hey. I gotta stop getting so excited. Jacqueline, I just was getting ready to watch your last video, and I ended up popping off, having to go to my friend just at her birthday day, so I'd take her to breakfast. But I am gonna get to it, don't you worry. Drone Effects with Claude. Hi. Furball. So anyway, I'm going to go back to what I was talking with Paul. So Paul, it sounded like, we always call certain people like the grandfathers of drones, but it sounds like you were way back in the day.
Yeah, it was challenging, kind of expensive at the time, because when you flew non-assisted radio control, every time you crash, it was fixed time. So then that was money, and I wasn't much of a fixer, so I was paying somebody else to fix my mistakes. And so that's why there's a big pause in my flying, and I really got back into. I kind of watched it, but when they started coming out with GPS and barometric stabilization and everything else, then I decided, hey, I'd like to get back into that. And that's where I started to go with the Wakira products, then the Unique products, and then the Align products. And then now I have pretty much settled on DJI, simply because they're not the cheapest, but pretty much all of their products fit my personal requirements for ease of operation, because I want to have a stable platform that I can shoot videos, and I've shot a few videos, and I want it to be easy to operate so that I can concentrate on flying, shooting as a videographer, and then editing, and then loading them on YouTube.
Well, and I hate to say this because I said you were the grandfather, but now I find out Rolex started in 1978.
There you go.
So he's the great grandpa.
He can have the grandpa title. That's fine.
Hey, Rolex, it's okay, darling. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know it's late, and it's Sunday, so tomorrow everybody's back to work, even though Not everyone's as lucky as I am to work all weekend. Let's see. So, so tell me, where were you born, Paul?
I
Train.
I was born in 1952, right here in Port Huron, and I happen to be living right now in the family home
Wow.
that my parents brought me home from the hospital to. And in when I grew up, I ended up my parents when I was in college. My dad was a postmaster. And that was back in the day when you had to get a presidential appointment to be a postmaster. And my grandfather was a county clerk for 38 years. So we're kind of got some roots in the community. But when I was in college and thinking about, well, where's Paul Murray going to go? My dad was promoted to run a major post office in the Detroit area, Southfield, Michigan. And then he went from there. He got promoted to being a sectional center manager, which he was in charge of all the post offices within a certain zip code and the distribution center. And
Wow.
so during that time period, I decided that I was working at the time for the Illich family that owns Little Caesars. And so I happened to ask if they thought that maybe I would be in line to get a franchise. And they were tickled to death for me to take a Little Caesars franchise.
So how
And so,
old were you when you did that?
well, I was 27, I think, at the time. And so I had all of Kansas City, 3 counties in Kansas, 3 counties in Missouri, and there were no franchises there.
How many stores?
Well, I had a franchise for 32 stores. And so I never got all of those built, but I was out there building stores, going, step by step by step by step. And I had a financial backer who was I would say probably a multimillionaire. And I got a call. I had about 3 or 4 stores up, 3 or 4 more stores being built. And it was costing back then about, $200,000 to build each location.
Oh,
That was just equipment and you're renting a space. And I got a call and Jack was in an insane asylum. He had a mental breakdown. So at that point, I could either take over the whole commitment, and I didn't have the bankroll for that,
right.
or I sold out to another franchisee from Boulder, Colorado, who bought it for his children. And so I decided, I can be miserable. I mean, people in Kansas City were nice, really nice people. They had a little bit of that Southern to them. You could be in the parking lot at a restaurant and have a 15-minute conversation with strangers, which was nice. But I said, if I'm going to, I want to go home. So I came back home, and
Nice.
and so after a couple of divorces, I ended up back here at the family house again in time to. My parents had built a house up north, and they used to go up there, 6-8 months a year, and be up in the woods, and so I was kind of keeping an eye on the house here, but it gave me that unique opportunity to be best friends with my parents.
Very
And
nice. Hold on
I,
a second because I have to. You are skipping right through so fast. I'm going to draw you back a little.
okay.
That's my role. But I want to say hi to a couple people. So above you two, hey, check Artie. Hello. Let's see, 4x4. How are you, darling? Crazy Dr. Pepper is in the house. And let's see, I'm going to turn down my volume a little. I think it's a little loud. Let's see, Joshua Spar, how you doing? Night Train. Choo-choo. And did someone say Paducah? It's Little Dumpling. Hey, Little Dumpling. Yes, Paducah's in the house. Roger, am I missing anyone?
No, so far so good.
Okay, so
Tech review. Hi.
Paul, what age were you then when you had to give up the Little Caesar dream?
I was out there about 5 years, so I was in my 30s, mid 30s, and I stayed out there for a little while. I don't know if anybody remembers Ponderosa Steakhouses,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they hired me as a district regional manager, and so I was out there for a while, and that's when the divorce happened. The wife met the Baptist minister and ran off. So anyway,
Mm.
Okay, that sounds like a song. Would you
yes.
like me to sing it for you? I think I've heard that before. You know, Paul, so by the time you were in your mid-30s, did you have your second divorce?
Yes.
Okay. So not an easy time in that youthful ages for you.
No, right.
And
Yeah. So
do you think part of that was because you had restaurants? I worked in restaurants when I was younger, quite a long time, and they were worse than YouTube as far as fun. and and I just remember how hard it was.
yeah,
So
it was hard, but because as you know, long hours, and it's like
very
you can't
long.
you can't predict your schedule or whatever. But I think it was in my particular case, looking back on it now. I mean, I was no angel either, but it was also a case of I grew up feeling though those people were my partners. I didn't, because I had a lot of friends of mine. They'd call their wives and say, "What are you doing? Who are you talking to? Where are you going? What are you up?" And I just never did that because I just figured there was this respect between the two of us that they should know what they should and shouldn't be doing, and I know what I should and shouldn't be doing, but I guess I didn't want to have to be a parent. I wanted to be a partner.
Well, and I'm doing this so I can read some. I can't read it as fast if I don't wear these. Yeah, I think there's anymore we have some partners need more connection than others.
Yep.
And if you're someone who just needs to be able to do your part of the world and they can't, then yeah, that can be really hard.
Yeah, it leads to conflict, and what you can't give them, they will search out and find somewhere else. And and
In
the
hindsight, right?
yeah
In
yeah
hindsight, we figured
hindsight
that
is
out.
very clear. But at the time, they were always amicable divorces, and it wasn't a case of that they didn't get financially whatever they wanted. Um, I think about all the new cars I bought ex-wives and clothes and jewelry, but I think it was the connection. The connection had a period of where, because of what I was doing and focused on, it was broken to where I wasn't there all the time for dinner, all the time for planning vacations and those kinds of things. Things would come
Well,
up.
and now anymore, we're finding out that we have these things called the maverick years, where there are certain years, like in our late 20s into our 30s, where we're really pushing that future dynamic and to get where we're going to go.
Yep,
And if
exactly.
the other partner isn't really worried about that, they're in for the slow ride. They're not really in for that real hard push. It can lead to complications.
Yes.
That's
So
the truth.
I survived, Val.
Yes. And now you have, what's your little puppy's name?
My little girl's name is Mia, the current one.
Yeah.
When I moved back here, I used to rescue Dalmatians, and I would get the older ones nobody wanted. They'd ship them to me. They'd fly, drive, send them to me from all over the eastern seaboard, and I'd take them, and it got it. I loved every one of them, but the problem was is I was adopting the older dogs, and they probably weren't in 100% health. And I'd get them everything they needed, but some end of life happens, which is one of my questions to God. Why do our pets only last so long? But that's another issue. So I've got these little pouches lined up all across in my bedroom of every one of them with their collars on it with their ashes, and I loved every one of them, but it was just killing me. it got to the point where when I go to the vet that I went to, they'd automatically hand me a box of Kleenex tissues, and because I'd stay right there all the way until it was over, and then I would hug them and caress them for a few minutes before I left.
Right, right. And I've lost some best friends that were, of course,
Sure.
my doggies. But
Yep.
I too almost always do either rescue or pound puppies.
Yep.
And they always say, "Oh, here's this puppy." And it's a big dog that just kind of lays there, and you're like, "Oh, must be younger than he looks." No. But I've loved every puppy I've had. So Paul, have you had children?
No, no, never was lucky enough or in the right situation enough to do that. But I think that was always God's will.
Right.
He didn't want to lay that on me, because not that parenthood isn't perfect. I know you've got some beautiful children too, and so does Roger. But it just is a case of it just never really happened for me. So. Um, there's just me and I now, and both my parents are gone, and in fact, one of my ex-wives I talk to periodically, and there's no animosity amongst any of my past relationships.
Well, and I think that's important. I know, I don't usually say this, but I've been married 3 times. And all but one of them, I am very good friends with, right? I just am, because
Yeah,
why not?
yeah,
It's just the way these things work sometimes.
yes,
So we
yes.
gotta be okay.
Like you, Val, I was married 3 times totally. The first time, um, she wanted to go to work for the post office, and my dad got her a job working at a post office about 50 miles away. So that's when he had transferred and was down in the Detroit area. So she stayed at their condo, and then I would go and visit her, and that didn't work out. So and she came back here, and she actually got transferred back here when my dad called or got a call from the postmaster where she was working at a large office and said, "Roy, we got a problem." And she evidently was getting what she needed from the married help down there, and so they transferred her back here, and she did it again, and so left with the guy that was married with 3 kids, and the wife didn't know what was going on, but. Um, but I never see her, and I don't begrudge her, because it was a case here. She was living there, I was living here. We'd get together for a couple of days, even though while she was working, because she'd be working the weekend shift, and so I didn't blame that. And the second one was kind of a rebound married, and we're still friends, but it ended up like I was kissing my sister, and so so we're just the best of friends, and if I was more mature at the time, I would have waited for that to change, but
Right.
but it didn't. And she moved on and married and had kids, and I talked to her periodically. And the last one was I met in the restaurant business, and she was the one that ran off with the Baptist minister, and I don't see her. He moved down to I think Georgia or Alabama or somewhere. But I did get a notice not too long ago, because I never begrudged her. They called and apologized on the phone and asked for my forgiveness years ago. And I says, you don't have anything to be forgiven for. Life happens. We don't plan out things the way it happens, but it turns out and it did. But I was kind of sorry to hear she passed away about a year and a half ago of ovarian cancer. So
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. I
yeah,
think I think, I love being single now.
yeah,
I wish everything had worked out and it'd been great, but it doesn't always, does it? So talk to me a little about a bit about this. What role now? You're a single man, you have your little puppy, your doggy, and you have drones. Is that
yeah.
a good fit for you, much better than before?
It
Or
is. It is because here's what's happened in the last few years. A very dear friend of mine who I went to grade school with, her name is Lynn. She retired from the military and from government service, moved back to Port Huron, and we have reconnected now, and we are the best of friends. And she has her own thing, and I have my own thing, and we get together and we have mutual friends. And so it's she goes her way, I go my way, but we get together for those special events and special things. And I know she loves me and I love her, and so it really is kind of evolved into a really a great friendship.
So a better fit for you.
Yes,
So
yeah,
the slow road of getting to know someone will work
yeah,
better for you.
yes,
Is that what
exactly.
I'm hearing?
Exactly. And you have to find that right person that's going to love you for your flaws as much as for your assets, you know?
Yeah, I think sometimes I told somebody the very things we fall in love with are the things that become challenging as a relationship goes on.
Right.
And you have to remember why you're there.
Yep, yep. And the when you're young and passionate, you think that everything's going to go on forever and everything is perfect and wonderful, and it takes a while for you to understand nobody's perfect.
Except for me, Paul. Except for me.
Well, yeah, we all know that, Val, because you are you are Roger has always told me privately, Val, that you are a YouTube goddess.
I don't know why. No lying. That's bad, Roger. Hey, Phantom 101, Inner Palace, Mine, Baduga, Mel, Back from the Sky, Furball, Bill, Newfoundland Drones. Hi, guys. And of course, Manic is in the house also. Um, so we are talking about Paul's personal life. I'm kind of delving where I probably don't belong, but I wanted to know anyway because I'm curious. So I was watching your channel. Um, and oh, one thing I wanted to go back on. Yes, having your parents, having that close bond is a beautiful thing. So
Yes.
let me talk to you about your channel a little bit.
Okay.
I was going through all of your stuff for the past 5 years, and I noticed it looks like you've always been kind of invested in the waterways.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
And so regardless of what you were doing, you were invested. At least that's the way it was looking to me.
Well,
All about that.
even if you notice, Val, when I did like the annual car show or annual events, they are because of the way Port Huron is sit right on the St. Clair River. There's always the water in the background, and
Right.
it's really a beautiful city. Um, and so when I was growing up as a young kid, my parents we used to always have boats, and I remember mother, even at a young age, we'd get out of school, or in the summertime dad would come home from work and mother'd pack a picnic lunch, and we'd get in the boat and go up the lake and anchor off of the beaches, and it was all revolved around water.
Right. Right. So now, and you also had those beautiful Clydesdale horses that you did one of your video. I love
Yep.
those horses. They're so beautiful. So you do have a special tie to the water. It's just very evident. You have a
Yes.
special tie to the water. And so I noticed that when you got to around year 3 of doing this, then the boats really started coming in.
Yep. Well, the equipment got better. You know, you could fly the Wakiras and some of the other ones, and they weren't quite as cinematic. The cameras got tremendously better. It, and so that's when the evolution, in my mind, really happened. Because if you saw in my videos, every time I fly, I get a little bit better, but when you slide, you take the aircraft and you slide sideways up the side of the hull, and you come around the front and you slide off to the side. All of that, anybody can do it, but the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Well, your videos are spectacular. They really are. I think one of
Awesome.
them I commented it was glorious. I think the way that in which you do it, it'd be hard not to like those boats that are coming down that waterway because it's such a clear vision, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
when did you really know that that's the area in which you were going to take your channel? Was it when you got the DJIs and the better drones?
Well, I think any pilot looks around at what you have to film or fly. And I just happen to be blessed enough, Val, that kind of view is, I mean, you probably saw a couple of my videos where I actually was flying up above my house at about 400 feet, and I zoomed in out to a freighter in the lake, and then panned around and got the bridge and all that. Um, that's what I'm blessed enough to have out my door every day.
Wow.
So other people, aren't have something a story to tell, definitely, but it's their individual story. But this, I'm blessed to have this story to tell and document.
So tell me, what is it like, just because I'm curious, what is it like to live there in the summer?
It's really fantastic. You saw the Blue Water Bridges which is about the number 3 border crossing between the U.S. and Canada. So there's a lot of traffic, and there's an expressway on both ends. So when I go down and fly in the summertime, there's days when it's like a 2-mile strip there where you can actually pull your car up, and then there's a sidewalk for a walkway, and you have a hard time finding a parking place to go down there and fly. And then I'm always inundated by people that are curious. The average person might be starting to get used to drones, but they all have so many questions. And I'm the kind of person, I'm retired. I got really nothing else to do. And Mia loves to sit in the truck and watch me. And so in fact, my lady friend, she always calls me up and she says, "Are you done flying?" I say, "Yeah." She says, "Did you do your mini seminar?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "About 5 or 10 people." And they all ask me questions and they want to take a look at the monitor and see what it is. And I actually have a little business card that has a picture of my drone and my name and telephone number on the front, and on the back it tells a little bit about how to go find my channel on YouTube. And I passed those out. I think I've probably passed out 3 or 4,000 of those.
Oh,
And
wow.
because people want to know, they're curious. And I think the more people that we actually allows them to see what we see is good for all of us.
So do the people in these freighters and things that are going down, do you ever run into them?
Oh yeah, yeah. In fact, Interlake Steamship Company always sends me his little trinkets and things, and great big winter coats as Interlake Steamship Company. They're like one of the biggest on the Great Lakes, and in fact, one time they wanted to hire me to fly to drive around and film ships at other ports, and I politely declined. But I told them, "Hey, you can take anything you want and just go ahead and use it." And they use it in their promotionals and everything else. And that's fine with me, because there's guys out there that are in it for the money, and that's not what hits my hot button. I chased that monkey for years. Now I do it just because I have a passion for it.
Right, right. There's a time when it's time to just say, I've done those years.
Yeah, and the reason I've had a lot of guys say, "Well, if you're not going to make money, why do you have a commercial drone pilot's license?" And I say, A, is I'm a firm believer to get as knowledgeable as you can, and B, if which has happened in the past, if a major movie studio came here to do some filming here and we needed a drone pilot, I'd be putting my hand up in the air just to get on set to see what's going on.
Right, right. Just let me walk around. I'll fly the drone.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I just want to say hello to a couple of people really quick. Hey, Dronography, Oliver's in the house. Hey, hey, hey. And we got Paul and Michael Grooms, of course, Ball, back from the sky. I'm just looking at the guys that are just right here. And let me see who else we have. Mel, Baduga, let's see, Manic Magic, Newfoundland, Phantom Flight, Poet Maker, Simple Arts, and Artie, and the Inner Palace Mine. Now, Artie's on a lot of film sets doing things where he is. So he may be able to give us some pointers on how you do that. So, so where do you want your channel to go? Do you have any ideas? Are you thinking of anything in particular that you'd like to see happen?
Well, before we go there, I want to say hello to Mel at 400 AGL. He's been waving at me, and Grumpy Vlogger Lloyd, two of the great guys, and of course Roger and Kim are royalty. But yeah, but your question again is what do I envision in the future? I think I'm just going to continue on with what I'm going. I was injured a while back, and they told me it was a back and neck injury, and they told me there really wasn't anything, that if they did anything medically, that I may end up worse than what I am. And they said what's going to happen is over time, and they were right, over time, I'm going to start putting pressure on joints and things that I didn't before, and I'm going to have myopathy and all kinds of things, and that's pretty much happened now. And now I've got osteoarthritis. So now when I fly, it takes a lot of pain pills to get me. Well, when I say pain pill, just over the counter. I put off. I'm not taking the heavy duty stuff until I really need it. But I go down there. By the time I do a complete flight, come back and land, and maybe do my seminar, I'm kind of leaning on the truck, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
because it just hurts, So I'm going to continue on with what I can for as long as I can. I've sold my bigger drones, and now I'm using a couple of smaller ones, the Mavic 2, and I also just bought the Mavic 2 Enterprise, which is more of a commercial version of the Mavic 2. But I'm trying to put my pennies together now, and I'm thinking I would like to buy the Mavic 2 Duo, which has both the regular camera and the thermal camera, because I did have a thermal camera on my Inspire 1.
I'm sorry. Still just getting over that bronchitis, luckily.
Yes.
So when you have the thermal cameras, where is that more for night?
Well, what the thermal camera does is it detects heat no matter what, and it also will see through mist, see through fog, see through anything, and it will focus on heat, and you can actually differentiate temperatures. And so I was getting last year a few calls from different agencies around the state to come out and do thermography, in a search for lost dogs, lost kids, lost whatever. And so it was great, but the problem being is, those cameras were several $1,000s, and as technology goes, I think I paid $8,000 for the camera.
Oh.
And then I kept it for 4 months, and then I could get the best price I could get for it was $3,200.
Oh.
So, but the new Duo has it all in one, and you can buy the complete set with the drone and everything now for about $2,800. So I was thinking about getting that just in case somebody wanted to use me for that, because I'm more than happy to help. I guess I'm just I feel bad. In fact, one time I went out to do a search about 90 miles away, got there, got the drone out, ready to go up and fly, and over the radio somebody says, "Well, we found it was a miniature pony, and they found it dead floating in a pond." So
Oh,
I didn't have to fly that day. So, but it just, and then I had another case where it was a sanctuary for deer, and they had a deer get out of the enclosure that had a bad leg, had a splint on its leg because they were rehabbing it. And I got over there, we got up in the air and just started searching, and a radio call came. And I don't know whether it heard my drone. I never did see it in on the screen, but they caught it because it ran right at them and they grabbed it. So
well, I think there's a lot of places that we can start using drones
yes,
where before it was just, you fly, you have fun, but now that people are actually considering drones, and all kinds of things, but it seems like it would appear that they're thinking they don't want the hobbyists flying those things.
yeah. Well, they want you to have a certain amount of training, and I can understand that. There's some people that are very adamant about they don't want the government to control them. However, having flown, there's one of the videos you saw was the annual float down. I think you saw that when they did the inner tube, they closed the river, and what you didn't see in that video is at any one time there's probably 20, 30 drones in the air at that time. Well, I would feel much safer flying if I knew that they all were qualified and knew what they were doing, and didn't just the day before run up to Best Buy and buy a drone. And
Right.
so, because it not only is it not safe for my drones, but if they were to clip me and I would go down, you could hurt somebody. And
Right.
and so that's so and I laugh at all of these guys that are talking about the government's not going to tell me what to do, and I just right out say to them, do you have a driver's license? Do you have a license plate on your car? Do you have car insurance? And well, yeah,
Government been telling us what to do for a long time.
exactly, and they will in the future.
They will. They will. They said back from the sky said they're using drones for shark alert apps.
Yes. Yep.
I have
Yep.
never heard that.
Yep.
And look,
Well,
here's Furball. No, no, no. Furball, be good. You behave. It's always better to trust big business with airplanes over our heads who have civilians taking care of them.
well, what you got to remember, a lot of people I meet, an interesting fella I met last summer down there, and I was flying, and he was in the military. He happened to be here visiting somebody, and he was in the military, and he flies big military drones by remote control over in Iraq, but he's stationed in Colorado, and that's where they fly him from.
Wow.
And he afterwards he came up to me and complimented. He says, and told me who he was, and he says, and I can tell you know what you're doing. That kind of made me feel good.
I guess my feeling on it is if somebody's out there searching for someone, I want them to be really good at what they do. And it'd be hard to tell. If someone comes up to you, have their drone, and someone else comes up to you, you don't know. They
No.
could, Oliver's in here. He's a great flyer. And so, of course, he would be good at doing that. But then,
Sure.
like you said, someone else comes up, they've had their drone for 2 weeks, and they think they're really good at it.
Yep.
Not yet. They will be, certainly, but not yet. So
Yeah.
it's nice to kind of know if we could differentiate. Now, if we could do it without the help of government, that'd be great. But I think the 107 is something that some of us are really going to have to look at if
Well,
we're going to be involved in these things.
I think that it's all a learning process. The
It
more
is.
the more it gets to the point where everybody understands and knows, then then because I have nothing against hobbyists. It's like Kim likes to fly and he does a good job at it and everything. But I imagine even Kim would be nervous if some guy says, "Hey, I just bought this. Can I fly it by you?" Because I've seen guys flying drones,
Hey,
like
that's
one,
actually happened, Paul.
yeah.
And all I can say is when Roger hit Kim with the drone, Kim was not happy.
No, no. And some of my bigger drones that I used to fly that I sold had carbon fiber props. And they don't just break or stop. They'll just cut your hand off. They'll cut the leg off a dog or a small child. They're like blades on a knife spinning at hundreds of revolutions per minute, you know?
Let's see. Mel saying, how many times do you need to spam that? Spam what, Mel? I don't know what you mean.
that Paul will get Mel a Mavic for his birthday.
Verbal says 4 times. Hey, Rodney Bell. Hi.
Well, Mel's a little upset because he ordered a new Duo when it came delivered to me, and so I thanked him. I says, "Thank you, Mel."
Bullshit. Good. I'm impressed you could count up to the first bullet.
Oh, that wasn't it? Okay, Mel. Sorry about that. 400 AGL.
I will tell you that
No, that
Roger
wasn't it. That wasn't it.
had Kim
So-
diving for cover a few times. In one of his vids, he was saying, "That's the throttle, the throttle, the throttle," as the thing was right at him.
Well, and it's all about orientation, and I tell everybody because I have instructed some people in getting their 107 license and firemen and things like that are going to want to use it. You got to practice, 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 and the best way to practice open field, low, slow, and the hardest thing for a lot of people is getting that depth perception dialed in, because as we walk around along the ground the most of our life, we're not gauging, okay, is that behind that or in front of that or whatever. We just see it as part of the overall visual picture. And so when you're flying and that drone gets out away from you, yes, you can look down at the screen, but you also have to be able to get an idea that, okay, that drone really is behind the tree. Then you look down at your monitor and see, oh no, I'm on top of the tree. If I were to descend right now, I'm going in the tree.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, go ahead and stay. You're fine. You're fine. It is what it is. Let's see. Rodney Bell back from the sky. Good evening. So I wonder how big getting a 107 is going to become for a lot of people. Paul.
Well, I think there is going to be probably an increase in 107. Mel's a 107 pilot, and he's doing real estate and doing inspections and things like that. And there can be money. There's money to be made in that, because it's a proven fact that instead of hiring a helicopter crew with a pilot, co-pilot, observer, and everything else at about $2,800 to $3,500 an hour to fuel and operate a helicopter, that you can do a lot of what you want inspected with a drone for a small percentage of what that costs. And so there are good qualified 107 drone pilots in business out there that are doing let's say surveying, mapping, inspections of towers, all the kinds of things where you know, it used to take boots on the ground or very expensive aircraft to do the same thing. And now it can be done relatively fast, accurate. One of the other things now with thermal imaging cameras they're doing is they're inspecting these solar panel arrays. When you look at a solar panel array, you can take a look and see which cell on that panel is good or bad or needs to be changed or whatever. And so they go out, especially some of these big solar farms, and they can do 40 or 50 acres in a day, where it would take, if you were on the ground doing that, it would take them weeks.
You know, it's funny because you're talking about, you know, inspecting panels, and it's important work, and it's nicer not to have guys have to try to climb up on these things, and even the wind turbines and stuff
Yep.
that they're using them for. And of course, Kim has another great suggestion: Yeti hunting. Now, you weren't thinking about that, Paul, were you?
No. Well, Kim likes the cold weather, and I'm not kind of into cold weather hunting.
Yeah, he's thinking Yeti because Kim has a thing for Yetis, for looking for these houses that grow hydroponic marijuana.
Well, I just saw a news article the other day where some students have developed a way to find landmines using thermal imaging cameras on drones. That what they do is they wait for the warmth of the day to heat up, and the land might stay colder longer than the natural ground.
It'd be very nice to be able to remove all the landmines that we have going.
Yep.
Yeah. No, Mel, he's actually talking.
Yes, Mel, he is. Yes, Mel, he is.
That are women. The female variety of Yeti is what he's looking for. Like some furry, because they're cute.
Well, that wouldn't be a Yeti. That'd be a hottie, right?
I just know that I've heard Kim talk about a couple Yetis that he knows. It's just scary. Just scary. Hey, Louis P. Floyd, how you doing? Saw you come in the house. How you doing? Along with Rodney Bell, back from the sky. He's not interested in 107, Paul. And normally, you know, oh my God, Purple, holy crap, he's gonna beat me like a troll. Oh, be a good boy. Put you in the naughty corner. Trying to get him in trouble with Bell. I think it's working. It's not hard. Kim just jumps in, jumps on that pool of crazy.
Well, you know, 107 isn't for everybody. You know, if you're a hobbyist and you're having a good time or whatever, you know, God bless you. It's all about learning to fly. It's about doing what you want to do. Take it to whatever level you want to take it to. And does everybody need to be a 107? No. Should in a perfect world everybody know the rules and regs? Yes. Simply because there's people out there that I think are buying drones every day at Best Buy that don't understand the 400 AGL, 400 above ground level, and that's kind of scary.
Right. See, one thing, I have the Breeze, and it's not like a DJI. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I like, but one thing I've noticed is now that we're getting closer to spring, we're not there yet, but March, April, the deserts in Idaho are beautiful. And I was coming home from New Meadows. I taught a class in dispute resolution. So I went up there and I taught the class, and I was coming back down the hill. Nameless droner, you are the man. Thank you so much. Thank you. He's so sweet. The one thing I noticed about it was every time I saw a rest area or something else, I kept thinking, why don't I have my drone with me? Why did I leave it at home?
Yeah.
There were so
Yeah.
many places, but I have a little bit of a fear of losing my drone. And I don't have a lot of drones. I have my Breeze and I have my Whoop.
Well, Val, you'll get over that. The more you fly, the more your confidence will build. I know a lot of people when they fly over water, it's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
I was going to
And
say, I was surprised you would fly your expensive drones over the water encircling those.
well, you got to have confidence in what you're flying. If you're flying a toy, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're flying something that really is stable, has a good connection, controls, is reliable, you will build the confidence in your drone the more you fly.
Hi, East Dad. How you doing? And we have also Louis B. Floyd in the house, back from the sky. Blizzard, Furball, who's getting in trouble. Mel and Michael, Nameless Donor. Thank you guys, and all the rest of you that are in here. Blizzard, thank you for coming in. I don't know
A lot
what,
of great, lot of great people on your channel.
you know what? I love all these guys. And I love the fact that they waited for me to come back because they didn't have to. They could have
They
just
were
gone on to other things.
Well, they also know that they better not tick off the live YouTube god Roger. So Roger's been telling them, you guys hang in there, Val will be back soon. You guys hang in there, Val will be back soon.
Amen. You know, Roger has been great. I want to tell you, he's covered my nights when I was doing. He didn't do the interviews, but he's been covering my nights, and he's been on fire. So it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful to watch it happen. Oh, it said drone effects with Claude. I am new. Okay, and it's okay. I know you're new. I saw you on Canadian Drone Hub, and I'm just going to throw Roger up here. See how furry Roger's getting? He's becoming Santa again. I don't know what to do about it. Let's see.
No, Blizzard. Sorry, Blizzard. I didn't see that question in there in that exam. What's the call sign for Quebec? I didn't see that in the exam. I went for the basic test. I didn't go for the advanced test. Sorry about Val. My sister.
No, you're fine. You're
I had to
fine.
ask him that.
Roger made it pretty clear to Paul and I, if you remember this, Paul, you can back me up, that we weren't to talk about what happened to Roger in the test. And now it's all over my chat, but I wasn't the one that got to break that news. I think that was wrong, Paul. Don't you? I should have been able to break that news.
Well, Roger's still working on it.
So Paul, I noticed that all of yours, there's no one who photographs these freighters better than you.
Oh,
We really do a lovely job.
there's some guys up north that do a nice job up on Superior too, but
Well,
I do thank you for your kind comment.
it's been really nice. How long do you see you doing this? I mean, because all the ships are going to be different because there's going to be new ones coming out, and there's something so peaceful about the way in which you do it.
Well, they are very majestic as they pass by. Any time of the day or night, it's something to see. Obviously, I'm filming daylight hours, but there's something to see. And what I've noticed is a lot of the people that grew up and live here start to grow these blinders, and they don't take the time to see the majestic vision that's right outside their car door because they're so used to it. They get used to seeing that, and yet when I go down and fly, I meet people from all over the country. In fact, even tourists here from Japan and Germany and whatever, and they just stand there for hours and watch the ships, and yet we have gotten blinders on a lot of people, and they just don't see it. I had people come and visit me when I was in Kansas City, and they stood for hours underneath the Blue Water Bridge with their mouths on their chest and going, "Is do you dye that water blue? Is it really that clear?" You know, and it is. It just it's one of the seven wonders of the world is the Great Lakes.
And they are beautiful. They are beautiful. Let's see.
Good
Oh,
night,
Rodney
Rodney
Bell.
Bell.
Good night, Rodney. I love you. Thanks for coming on and watching.
Mel and Lloyd do a nice job, and a lot of these guys have channels too. They do fantastic, but still, the king of live TV, Val. I mean, even though I call you the queen of live TV, the king of live TV is really the anointed one is Roger and Roxy and Kim. That Canadian Drone Hub, they just do such a fantastic job, and they individually really want everybody else to succeed on YouTube. They care.
So talking about that, let's talk a little bit about that. Oh, thank you, East Dad. So nice for you to come on. I really, really appreciate it. Good night, East Dad. So let me ask you this. When did you start noticing your channel really starting to grow?
Because of Roger. I would get comments all over the world of people that really like my channel. You know, people that maybe used to live here and moved, or people from that have received links to my YouTube channel because they have an uncle that's on this ship, or they have somebody they know that's on that ship. And I even get links coming in from viewing from all over the world because, as you know, we get saltwater vessels up here too, and I shoot them. And when I say shoot them, I video them and put those on, and they are just so tickled to death. In fact, a lot of them will come out and wave, and and sometimes they'll even be waving, and I don't catch it right away because I'm looking at the screen, figuring on framing and how I'm side sliding. And then when I look at it when I'm editing, there they are standing out there waving and having a good time. And they will forward that to whoever they want, and it's kind of like almost part of their diary.
Right, right. So how long ago did your channel really start growing?
I would think Roger started it growing. Well, how long ago was it, Roger, that I happened to pop onto your channel? Maybe a year or a year and a half ago, and Roger has always been so kind about my videos, and he has promoted me, and it just started to grow. But what I noticed was the big hump to get over, though, Roger. I was at like what 850 or 875 for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd go up to maybe 900, then back down, up to 900, back down, up to 900, back, and then finally, just recently, Roger pushed me over 1,000. And I tell you what, I owe so much to Roger and Kim and Roxy, especially Roxy with a Roxy cam.
I know she's a rock star.
Oh, she and everybody doesn't know how hard she works behind the scenes because she's in the control room with the headsets on and pushing all the buttons and switches.
She has to, because Roger doesn't know how to. So somebody has to do that. It's Roxy.
Yeah. But I would say, you know, and some other channels too that and Roger really coaxed me to come on here and actually do live streaming as a guest because he kept it. How you pestered me for a long time, Roger.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, "You can do it. You can do it. You can do it." And I said, "No, I can't. No, I can't. No, I can't." Because in my mind, who wants to talk to this old whatever? And Roger kept saying, yes, they do. They'd like to hear from you. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And so now I'm being reached out from a lot of different people that have invited me to come on and join their channel as a guest here and there. And it's kind of liberating, but I also can see, Roger, and you Val, you must know it as well. It can consume your day. Pretty soon the days start really going.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
That's why we have Roger. He is the 24/7 YouTube channel.
Yep. And the first time I went on, Mel had to call me directly because I know Mel real well. Mel called me directly. He says, "Okay, this is what you got to do," because Roger was trying to help to figure out how to get me on, and it wasn't working, and so Mel got me on. So then I noticed in the chat right afterwards, Mel said, I think it was something to the effect of, "Okay, Roger, I've created the monster now."
You want to just type your name at the bottom of the chat, Paul?
Okay.
Yeah, put your name in. Yeah, back from the sky. This is Paul Murray. He is a drone flyer extraordinaire. He does beautiful, beautiful cinematography when it comes to the freighters that are going down that one byway. It is just really, really good. I think that. Oh, no, don't worry. I announced it in the beginning and then I forgot I need to keep saying, this is Paul Murray. So sorry. It's my fault, back from the sky. It's all I can say for my excuse is it's been 3 months since I've actually done an interview with anyone. And so it's kind of, even getting back on live took me a while to figure it all out.
I think you're doing absolutely marvelous myself.
Well,
one of the guys that I was on their channel earlier, when Roger started talking about Val was going to interview me, I was on another channel. And the guy says, "You be prepared to cry because she's going to get you."
That's happened a couple times, and I didn't mean for it to happen. But there are some people with some stories that they're kind of a bit wrenching, and so that's, yeah. I kind of have a rep, I think, now, but it's been 3 months, and I'm a little out of practice, maybe.
Yeah.
So then, here comes the question now.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to go to my channel, just on Natural anytime, just type in Paul Murray, but put in Port Huron, Paul Murray, Port Huron. And the reason that is because there's a very famous newscaster on Good Morning Australia. Because Australia is so big, they put every episode every day on YouTube so that anybody can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, let me tell you, so I have to go through all those to get down to yours, so that's good advice.
Yep.
But I have a bell on yours, so it tells me when you're going on. Hi, Drone Shots. Okay, I'm subscribed to Paul Murray channel. I just didn't put the face and the name together right. Jody, I left you a tick to call or email me. Who is Jody? Am I just way behind in something?
Yeah, Mel interviewed me last summer. We did some flying down by the river, and he interviewed me on, and you can probably find it on 400 AGL. It was a good interview, but you know how you don't like to see yourself.
Oh, okay.
It was
thank you.
One of those things.
I know. I feel like that too. It's really hard when I first started because of that.
Well, yeah, but you look like Cleopatra.
Well, you're
Don't you think, Roger?
her bigger sister.
Bigger sister.
But not a Yeti, at least. Not a Yeti.
Okay, Drone Shots is Jody. Okay.
Jody, yes. So I think that's one thing that we've all had in common. And that's why I try to interview people who've been part of the Canadian Drone Hub, because Roger, isn't it your anniversary now? Haven't you been on now a full year?
Yeah, make 1 year on the 4th of March.
Yeah.
I've been doing 7 days a week.
Roger has become a regular icon on YouTube, and he did it in a year. So his star is just rising. It's just going up now.
Right. It was so funny because when he first came on, I remember Kim going, Valerie, would you please watch my best friend? Just go on his video, maybe comment. Would you do that? I went in on, he had this little spinner. He's going, here it's spinning. And you couldn't see his face, just his hands, here it's spinning. And I thought, wow, we got a ways to go here.
Well, he has
over like a king.
And he has a crew too. I mean, he's got Roxy working for him, Kim's working for him. I mean, they're all pushing him forward.
Yeah, I think it's great. And now we're coming up on the year, which most of us can say we have been with Roger since that beginning of his channel, right? Because a year is a year. And so it's been a lot of fun. But I'm still sucking down his dust. It's like, Roger, stop it. Bronchitis, stop climbing the numbers so fast. But he's a champion. Him and Kim and Roxy, they really are. They really are.
They are great individuals, and even Roxy has a personality. And when she goes there on the Roxy cam, you can just see how much she loves her dad.
Oh, she does. She has 2 daddies, and it's like a book. Me and my 2 dads. Right, Roger? She has 2. She always puts her paw up, and I know what she's telling people, but she's so funny. Yeah,
well, I'm waiting for Roxy to bust out, put her paws up in the air one day and go, "We are family."
You'll be singing, but it might not be that song. Oh my gosh. So guys, do you have anything that you would like to ask Paul Murray about his flying, or where he lives, or what's going on in that area? Because if you do, put your questions in, and Roger's going to make sure I don't pass them. Right, Roger?
Well, when you're flying, Paul, you're standing by the bridge, right? Then you're
on the north,
when you're going down, right?
Usually on the north side of the bridge, I film upbound freighters, and on the south side of the bridge is one downbound, because I try to keep the bridge in the background of the initial shots.
Okay, so that means you got to go on both sides of the bridges then when you film.
Yeah, but there's parking lots all along there, so yeah. If I happen to be down there and going to do 2 or 3 ships at a time, sometimes I'll be down there, and then. But with a Tahoe, I'm kind of lucky because I just open the back up, set my equipment in there, then drive up like a quarter mile and open up and take it out again.
Okay.
So it makes it kind of nice. Well, the other thing I would suggest, if everybody wants to get an idea of what it looks like where I shoot the videos, is go to Google Maps and Google in Port Huron, Michigan, and you'll be able to see Sarnia across there, and go to the satellite view, and you'll get an idea of where it is and what it really looks like from up there of what I'm doing.
Okay.
So right along there where you along about a curve, there's a bit of a curve.
Yeah. Yep.
And it looks like it's like beach.
On the north side, yes, it's a beach. That's the actual shoreline. That's the shoreline of Lake Huron. And if you look to the left, you saw where there was a lighthouse. That was the original lighthouse. In fact, that was the first lighthouse on the Great Lakes. And that marked the entryway to the St. Clair River. And to the right, the beach hooks a little bit more out and goes all the way around. And the lake is huge. It's like a small ocean. You can't see across it.
Okay.
And so when they come downbound, the river goes down and it hooks by, and you might see there's a Coast Guard ship there called the Hollyhock, and it's an ice cutter and a tender, and the Canadian has over across. They have what's called the government docks, and they have their icebreakers and patrol boats over there as well. And and then in the far distance, when I do the ending shots, you'll see downtown Port Huron on the right. On the left, you'll see Canada and Sarnia, but you'll see there's a whole called Chemical Valley. There's a whole bunch of chemical and oil company plants there along going down.
Okay. There's a question from Paul. There's a question from our AGL 400 AGL Mel.
Wants to ask my adapted dad where he's sending me a Mavic 2 Duo.
Oh, nice.
Another question. Yeah, I'll let you go out as well. Question from back from the sky.
Back from the sky. Back from the sky. What is the furthest that Paul Murray flew away from his starting point?
Line of sight. But line of sight can be differentiated as long as you can keep a sight on the aircraft. And what I have is I have strobes that I can put on them so that I can see them for up to 3 miles. But officially, it's line of sight. We all are supposed to fly line of sight unless you get a waiver. And but all of those rules and regulations, is everybody knows, is in limbo to be changed and modified.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you heard that, but my Saint Bernard was snoring.
I thought that was Kim making a comment. I didn't.
I know, yeah. Paul, do you know Tracy Hoskin? That's Drone Shot's sister. She lives in Port Huron.
Tracy Hoskins. No, I do not, but Tracy Hoskin Mel? What? Drone Shot. No, Paul, do you know Tracy Hoskin? That's Drone Shot's sister, and she lives in Port Huron. No, I do not. But if she lives in Port Huron, she's living at ground zero of a magnificent area to live.
Right, back from the sky is saying if we're supposed to be flying line of sight, which I'm not disagreeing, why are all these drone channels doing long range tests?
Well, they're doing it on their own, and obviously they're not flying within the specific regulation. But I can't pass judgment, because maybe in some cases, some of the bigger guys that are doing that, they may have gotten an FAA waiver. I don't know.
Yeah, because he's saying also, why would you buy a drone that can do 3 or 4 miles? Just doesn't make sense. This line of sight rule, which I understand.
Well,
so
you got to remember that the same regulations here in the United States doesn't mean that they can't in other countries. So they're using drones in Africa, like to deliver medicines to different places, and there is no restrictions on distance, and so it's very easy for us to judge the rest of the world by us. But DJI is the #1 manufacturing seller of drones in the world, so they're going to make the drones to do everything, and then it's going to be up to you to know what you should and shouldn't be doing. It's kind of like aviation, regular aviation, or it's like cars. Why do they make cars that'll go 120 miles an hour? I don't know of any place where you can drive them that fast, but there must be somewhere, except unless on the Autobahn in Germany,
Right. So Furball saying, what's the point of going so far? And 400 is still saying, I can explain it. Anybody want to know? I can tell you. Mel, I know you can. I would only fly line of sight because that's my comfort area, right? It's just, it makes me more comfortable to know where my drone is, to be able to see it, but There are some people. I saw a really beautiful beach video where they flew much further along the beach, and it was a beautiful flight. But yeah, and he said it has nothing to do with money. Waste of a video drone, I think. Uh, so we have quite a bit of time. Mel, did you want to come on and tell me why? If you do, you're gonna have to figure out how to have me know your link. Oh, Roger.
I can send him a link. Yeah.
Yeah, send him the link that I sent you.
I think what Mel's is referring to is a famous video that he did not too long ago where he made a mistake and handed the controls of another drone to a novice, and he was flying an expensive Inspire, and the guy because he wanted him to follow him and get pictures of it, and the guy flew it just like a missile into the back of the Inspire, and they both went down.
Yeah, do me a favor, Roger. Can I just put you up here for a minute? Can you keep track of everything just for a minute? I will be right back.
Hey, no problem. I understand.
I'm just going to send the link up to Mel. There we go. Okay, won't be long there, guys. I'll be there. Paste. There you go. Sent. There you go, Mel. I just sent you the link. No. There, I'm back. Okay, I'm here. Okay, Mel, I sent you the link for Val.
Roger, yeah, isn't it really a pleasure to have Val back?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Phantom Hodges Jones. Hi, Roger. I passed my advanced exam today. I failed my exam today. I got 51% today. I didn't I did the test this afternoon and I failed it, so I got to take it over again tomorrow. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought 51 was a really good score. It kind of wasn't.
Well, it would be a good score if how many questions were there, Roger? If you got 51 right out of 65, but that's
no, there's 36 questions. 36 questions, and tell you one thing: I don't fly helicopters, so you know.
Oh, Michael,
I'll redo it. I'll redo it. That's all.
Michael, don't punish yourself. You're fine. You're good. You're fine. Phantom Hodge drone got 82%. Roger,
Cool.
I think we got you a study buddy.
No, but he went for the advanced license. He didn't go for the.
Oh, no study buddy for you. Hey, Mel, thank you for coming on, Mel. Why don't you talk to us a little bit, because I'm just curious. Line of sight.
Welcome. Thanks for having me. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Mel.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Val. Hi, Roger. Greetings to all. The reason, and this is the sole reason for the rule of stay within line of sight with your drone. When your drone is outside of your line of sight, you cannot see adjacent aircraft. Therefore, you cannot avoid adjacent aircraft. The only way you can avoid adjacent aircraft is to have your drone in a line of sight. And that's the only reason for the line of sight rule. Got nothing to do with money. It's strictly to do with safety and keeping an eye on your drone and other aircraft.
Yeah, it's a safety issue.
That's exactly what it is.
Mel, I appreciate that.
There was a debate in chat of what's the reason for line of sight. So
yes,
that's why I said I can explain the reason if anybody cares to know what the real reason is.
Yeah, I think I do it because I'm careful, and you're right. I want to know what's around me, and how I'm flying that, and it makes me more comfortable. And some people, where is who back from Sky? Where is Roger? Roger's right there. Can't you see him? I see him. That's what when he wears his black T-shirt.
Mel, I totally agree. It's situational awareness. You have to understand.
That's it.
Your airspace, their airspace, and everybody's airspace.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, back from the Sky is saying, aren't the aircraft in the air supposed to also abide by certain height rules, as well as regardless of line of sight?
Are you referring to manned aircraft? Yes, they are supposed to abide by certain rules. Fixed wing manned aircraft are not supposed to be below, I think it's 1,000 feet above ground level. Helicopters aren't supposed to be below, I believe it's 500 feet above ground level, unless they're conducting official search and rescue missions. I believe those are the rules. I can't remember those rules exactly, but I know it's close.
So, guys,
I know the helicopter rules are not 500 feet under normal operations, but they have the ability to descend, hover, land, search and rescue, and all kinds of different things. But what you got to remember, in manned aircraft, they're all got radios and they're talking to one another. They're talking to air traffic control and they're talking to everybody, and Mel knows when you descend an aircraft, you announce it. You just don't just dive,
right.
Right.
So, guys, we have a Jeopardy time. I'm sorry, so I have to do it because for a ball. Bathroom and dog. What is the question?
No, because I brought to the bathroom. I put the dog out. I went to the bathroom.
So the correct answer was, the correct question was, where's Roger?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Okay. Just caught it.
Okay. That's okay. So if they keep the 400-foot rule, the aircraft keep above, shouldn't be any issues.
That's exactly true. Shouldn't.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world. Me personally, I'm not willing to gamble on the possibility of my drone being involved in a collision with a manned aircraft or another drone, just because of all the bad things that can happen as a result of such a collision. I've had my drones out of line of sight of me, but I've been in direct communications on the phone with my visual spotters that are directly under my drone. Yeah. So either way, I've still got visual control of the drone. I don't quite understand why it's even an issue. Line of sight's the rule. Follow the rules. Speed limit 65. Drive 65. Rules, say don't drive and drink. So don't drive and drink. Only drink at the stop signs. I get it all. So just follow the rules.
Is that how that works?
I do try to do the 65 and the 80 and all of that. I do try. Hey, Merch. Hey, Mook. I do try. I try really hard. But I was coming off the mountain the other day, and I tell you, I wanted to get home so bad. It was over a 3-hour drive. Oh, so Merch is in the house. How you doing, Merch? Glad to see you, darling. So paramotors don't have, oh, maybe I won't read that one. So then they're responsible on both pilot and airplane pilots as well. We all have to take responsibility, but I do know that aircraft in the airspace take precedence.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I expect it to be that way. If I'm flying a drone and a big aircraft is coming, I would think, wow, that big guy, has precedence over my Breeze drone.
Yeah, it's not only size, Val, it's just the common sense of there's a live human there. My drone is a machine, So if the two came in contact, that live person is going to be impacted much more than, okay, I'm going to be out some bucks for my machine.
Well, yeah, and I think size matters in that way because you got a big airplane, you got a
Yep.
little drone. You know, I want to keep my drone in one piece and keep all the people in one piece. But
Yep.
with the
I'm
where
starting to see a
400
trend.
matters a lot when how high you can go is if you are flying near an airport and that space can intersect, right? Or ways of that way. I think you have to be, because didn't they just shut down Newark Airport because somebody was flying a drone?
Yeah, and the drone was 20 miles away from Newark Airport, so it was ridiculous. But
20
anyway,
miles away.
yeah, it was 20 miles away.
So Mel, let me tell you this. I was getting ready that next day to fly out to go to Puerto Rico because I was catching a cruise. So I never did hear the rest of that story. So do you know that story? Could you tell me?
The drone was reported by a pilot, I believe, of an airline that was headed toward Newark, and he was 20 some miles away near some other town, and he saw what he reported to be as a drone. There was never an official recording that it was a drone or anything. So
Never showed on radar either.
And
No.
it never showed on radar. So it could have been a bird. I mean, there's no proof that it was a drone. Same thing with the Gatwick incident. There was no drones flying at Gatwick that caused the great shutdown for 3 days, other than the police drones that patrol Gatwick.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God, that is so ultra sad. It's almost like we're trying to find reasons to have more fear about what's around us.
Well, and the other question that Mel is alluding to is that it's reported by guys flying jet aircraft at 300 miles an hour, and a drone is the size of a couple of footballs. So how do they identify a drone at 300 miles an hour?
I can so relate to that, because back when I was flying manned aircraft, coming in for a landing in an aircraft that lands at about 50 to 60 miles an hour, flies at about 100 miles an hour on the average, 110 at the tops. Final approach, you're flying 70, 80, 90 miles an hour. You're coming through the pattern, base leg final approach. You see a bird, you're moving 70 mile an hour. You see a bird this big go whizzing by at 70 miles an hour. All you could see was a blob. You couldn't even tell what kind of bird it was. So yeah, I'm with you there, Paul.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Hey, JDS is in the house and March just left the house. Don't cause it Zach. Oh my gosh. Yeah, back from the sky. I would say that I would be upset if a commercial aircraft landed on me.
Yeah, that'd probably ruin my day too.
That would be. Do you remember when all those aircrafts are kind of falling out of the sky? Do you remember when that happened? It happened in DC, and then it happened in some of our and
Detroit had one too. Yes.
Yeah, they were just, absolutely falling out of the sky. And
but I can also tell you this: a commercial airliner, standard commercial airliner, A380, 747, 767, all of those aircraft, their engines are designed to ingest up to 3 birds the size of geese.
A turkey, yeah.
Yeah, the size of a goose, and still function. So a Mavic and
Centroid A, Craig's A.
I just happen to have my Zoom sitting right here.
We got a raid going on really quick, guys, so I have to speak to it, Mel. Sorry. So Craig's aerial view raid. Hey, how you doing? Centroid, Thank you for the raid. That is super great. Just wanted to make sure. So Mel, can you put your name down here? Also, Paul, can you put your name down in here? And then, hey, Dad Random. And then Roger, can you please come down here because we have a raid going on. So we might as well have. So who I have on the panel right now is 400 AGL, along with Roger Martin from Canadian Drone Hub, and Paul Murray, our drone extraordinaire on Lake Huron. So just want you to know, and D1 Gray, I love you. Just wanted to make sure you knew. He's great. So, okay. Mel, I'm so sorry. Please go again.
Anyway, my point was just going to be a drone the size of a Mavic is not going to bring down a commercial airliner.
Right.
Those engines are designed by GE and the manufacturers that build them to ingest all kinds of things and still function well and correctly. So yeah, I don't see what the big hubbub is. What the problem is, and I really believe this, that 80% of the drone flyers out there are people like you and me and Paul and Roger and everybody else that hangs in our circles that fly pretty much reasonably and legally. It's that 20% that got their drone at Best Buy yesterday and decided they're going to go fly it, and they don't have a clue of what they're doing. Those are the ones you see on the news. And because those are the ones you see on the news, those are the ones that everybody hears about around the country. They don't hear about us. Me doing real estate videos and Paul doing ship videos, and they don't hear about us. So you just need to pay attention, get the word out, fly safe, fly right. It's not hard to do. That's all I think about it.
Yeah, I think that's just common sense, right? Common sense isn't so common all the time. I mean, we all know that, right? I don't know why it's called common sense. Centroid, aerial images. Hello, welcome. Aerial views. Just love seeing you. I'm so glad you came in the house. Infinite Flight Guy, you have a nice channel. I'm supporting you. We have Paul Murray on the panel. We have Roger Martin from Canadian Drone Hub, and we have Mel on the panel. Oh yeah, the tinfoil heads. Okay, I swear to you, I am making that live stream next week because I love the tinfoil heads. Oh, drone pool. Hi. Oh, you use the term like. So funny. You're so funny. You're so funny. So we brought Mel on in my interview with Paul because we were coming to the end of the interview and we were talking about line of sight, and Mel was telling us why absolutely there is line of sight. So, and I so appreciate it, Mel, because I think line of sight is really, really what we need to have.
Well, Mel has experienced both ends. He's been a pilot in the air, in the seat, and he also is a drone pilot. So he knows the importance of not only common sense, but common courtesy, that you don't want to put anybody's life in jeopardy.
Right.
And go the next step up, Paul. I just spent 35 years. I just retired in November, 35 years as an over-the-road truck driver. The ability that if I sneeze wrong to kill how many people going down the road at 70 mile an hour in my big rig. Yep. So following the rules and doing things the right way, I'm accustomed to. If I mess up, somebody dies. Yep. So I'm okay with following the rules. I'm all about it because that's, for 35 years, that's been my way of life. If I mess up, somebody's going to die, because you don't just run over a car with an 18-wheeler and, everybody just walk away and go have coffee afterwards. It don't work that way.
Right. We do have a question from Ricky Dove for Roger Martin. If Roger's listening, he would like to know how you did on your test, Roger.
I failed my test today. I'll do it over again tomorrow.
And Furball saying he got a 1%, so he little teeny clap for
I only got 51%, so I failed my test today. I'll do it again tomorrow.
You know, I couldn't imagine everything when they were going to do the 107, all the stuff they were going to have in that test. But I watched Tony and Chelsea. I think Northrop, what
Yeah,
that
but
was.
I know what you mean there, Rob, but this was a basic test. Why would they put how to fly a helicopter in your basic test? That's what I can't understand. A helicopter. I don't fly helicopters. You know? It's
they're
it's
definitely wasn't fair on that question because when you fly a helicopter, you're dealing with pedals and rudders and sticks and collectives and all those kinds of things. And so, I would say those questions were not fair to you, Roger.
Yeah. Well, it's only to me, so everybody's doing the basic test. Really, it's a hell of a. Anyway, I wish I could have copied and showed everybody the test, but it's against the law to do that, so I'm not going to do it.
I think the basic premise of tests, I could be wrong and I could be just being snarky, is you're kind of supposed to be, where did Mel go? I put a reason for LOS. No need for me to take up space on the panel. Oh, Mel, you didn't have to go off. But okay. Thank you for coming on and doing that. But I think you're supposed to study. I think that's part of the test thing.
Well, I think you're right, Val. I think what it is, it's a case of they want everybody to acknowledge there's rules and that there's certain things they want you to know. And so therefore they expect everyone to go out and find that knowledge and then just report back on it. Yes.
Right. Hey, Ed, how you doing? D1 Gray is in the house. I have one leg like I will ever fly one. What?
The helicopter.
You can't fly a helicopter if you only got one leg? I guess I'd fail that test because I thought you could fly with one leg.
No, because you've got what you've got in a helicopter in a setup, you've got pedals on the floor. And as you you push this pedal, it increases the pitch of your tail rotor so that it makes it turn this way or that way or whatever. And then you've got a collective on the side that controls your top rotor, and then you've got your stick on the front that allows you then to pitch forward, sideways, backwards. So he's right because you have to be able to push either the left pedal or the right pedal.
Okay, that sounds all way complicated, so I'm not going to take the Canadian test. I'm going to take the American one.
No, there was no study book. Well, they showed me places where to go to study, but you got 40-something pages to read and all that. But it wasn't
me.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry about it, guys. I'll get to it.
Are you going to read the 41-page book?
I go say I'll have no choice, probably.
Well, Val, just to show you, I showed this in a couple of other channels. This is a study guide for the 107, and it has answers, questions.
Wow.
It talks about weather, mapping, what you should and shouldn't do, how you should and shouldn't react. I mean, it's talks about everything, and so it's really kind of intense. Now you only have to pass 70 questions, but you got 70% of 70 questions.
And I'm used to taking tests, and I thought I'd just go and do the 107. But then as I thought about it, I'm just going to say, I'm not that great a flyer. And I thought I could probably get the test and not be a great flyer. So I decided to do it in a different way. I'm going to become a great flyer, and then I'm going to take the test.
Well, what you might consider is learning the information and then taking the test just to have it, because you're going to benefit from grandfathering in as they make changes. Plus, you have to renew every 2 years in the States, and the renewal is less questions. So, I mean, there is a benefit of getting your 107, Val.
Yeah, because I kind of wanted to do it, but I just thought, I don't want to take up space when I'm just not that good yet. I have a lot more to go. I haven't even flown above 200 feet, and people are upset because I can't fly over 400. I'm a bit of a mess, but I'm going to keep flying. His phone we used was acting like a crack addict. Oh, is that why Roger didn't pass? Because his phone was on crack?
Because they said you can go on Google and ask the questions on Google. So I went on Google and I asked the questions, but I think my phones have problems with my French accent. I don't know.
I think that must be what it is, Roger, because you're brilliant.
Yeah.
Your French accent. Okay.
Yeah,
We're going with that.
I would tend to believe there was technical difficulty, and Roger, you really did better than it was reported.
Yes. Hi, Random Dad. I don't see the email from you. Would you like to join our Skype call? So I'm just reading that out so you don't miss it. Swift Fox is in the house. Holy cow, we were getting strange things. I bet you were. Right? And I don't want to ask some of the questions. I think you would have got strange things. Study parts at a time. Challenge yourself with the study questions, then go find the answers. Yeah, I think so. Does that book tell you what to have for breakfast before you go out?
I don't know, Phantom Hodges. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but Roger, next test will be a lot of other questions than what you already did.
The one of the reasons I think Mel left is I don't think he wanted to go into an in-depth interview with Val, because I don't think Mel wants to cry. So,
and I would make Mel cry because I got some in-depth questions from Mel. Where's Momo? I don't know, JDS. She's really into playing those games online, those what do they call, like PlayStation games? Just called me and told me to leave YouTube. I had a friend just called me. Michael Grooms, why would that be? Why do you have to leave YouTube? Welcome, JDS. Yes, D1 Gray is correct. Welcome, JDS. I heard that there is about 4 different tests. For the Canadian test?
Well, we'll see. We'll see tomorrow.
Well, in the States, the 107 testing, they pull from a pool of about 250 questions. So you only get 70 randomly selected questions from about 5 different categories. So I would imagine the Canadian testing, you probably will not get the same questions again. You may get some of them, but not 100%.
Okay.
Okay, Arrow Views, Random Dad just put in his email for you to get him that link so you can get on that Skype call. Jim, hello, 616. Hello. So anyway, I wanted to take care of that.
For AGL.
Oh my gosh.
400 AGL says, oh my God, you're all so full of yourselves.
I don't think he was talking about me. Right, Mel? Mel, my buddy? You wouldn't make me sad, would you? Funny, when I passed the advanced test, it gave me a basic license. So you have to get flight review before they issue. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and one of the guys was saying that, I can't remember who it was. Do you remember, Roger? One of the guys said that there's only specific kinds of aircraft, drones, that you can fly to take that test, and DJI is not one of them. And I says, well, that'd be a great little business for you to get whatever the aircraft it is that you have to fly in order to take that test, that flight test, and rent it to them.
Yeah.
So, Paul, when you were starting YouTube, did anyone think it was odd that you were going to do a channel?
I think what I stumbled in just not knowing quite what I was doing because I was just putting up videos on. As you can see, it's just under my name. Putting up ship videos and videos from around Port Huron. And I didn't really understand the concept of it actually being a channel, but it really is, because I looked at more like the guys that have channels have content, plus they go on live and could do these live broadcasts too, live streaming. And if it wasn't for Roger, his kind coaxing and pushing me, I wouldn't be on here today, because I always thought, who's going to want to look at me on here, and who cares what I think or have to say? And I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't, but it's only because of Roger that I'm here, and the assistance of Mel helped me get on to my first time with Roger,
Right.
that it worked out. And so what's happened now is I've gotten invited to go on several different live channels, and everybody's been so wonderful. You know, the drone community as a whole is a very loving group, and it's almost like having a second family.
Yeah, I wanted to say something, and this is the reason I asked you. Michael Gritton said that people are telling him your channel's not good enough, just get off. And I told the story of Roger when he had that little spinner, and he was just going, look, fish spinner. Watch it spin. That's all he had. That was like one of his first videos. I went on and went, Roger is very sweet to go on and to do what he's doing. And I'll watch his stuff. They didn't last long, and so I just watched that spinner spin. And by then I had been on almost a year, and my videos weren't great either. And so I'm going to tell you, none of us usually, unless you've been doing this a long time before you get on, do great channels coming out the gate. But I don't think anyone could say right now that Roger's channel isn't great, because it is.
Yes, it is.
And Mel said he got off because he was shy. You know what? Yeah, okay, but I'm never. Okay, Mel, we love you, and I think we're all in that space. So if you let other people tell you when to get off, when to come back, when to do what you do, then you're gonna be living by their rules. That's no fun.
Yeah.
Live by your own rules.
Yeah, everybody is an individual. Be yourself. And if you go to this level and you're happy with that, enjoy it. If you want to move up and try and become like Val or Roger or some of these other very famous YouTubers, then just watch them and learn from them, because they will give you the inspiration that everybody needs to elevate up above. But I'm in awe just sitting here in the presence of these greatness, like the king and queen of live video. It really is, and Kim is always in the background, and of course Roxy is behind the scenes, and so it really is. I'm humbled every time I come on, and I seem to talk a lot, and a lot of people don't like that, but it really is humbling and very much appreciated, the welcome that everybody has.
Here's Mel. Hey, Mel.
Hi, Mel. Welcome back.
Oh my God. Oh, that's so funny.
I got to pull plugs and turn things on to make everything work this way. No, Val, I was teasing because I said the reason I got off was because I was shy. Val, let me just show you a little something. You see the screen you're looking at now?
Your green screen.
That's my green screen for my live productions that I do. I can also switch cameras to a back camera and show you the back side of my studio, currently with the 2 monitors and everything else that I have set up here. So yeah, wow. That shows you how shy I am.
You have good taste.
Yeah, you had Val on the screen. You have good taste.
I like your setup. I just don't know enough about computers as far as that to get that kind of big setup. I'd be, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'd be down a rabbit hole for sure.
Oh, it's so easy. It only looks overwhelming. It's really not.
Well, see, I hear that from guys who like they kind of have that engineer mind, and like you've seen DNA and you've seen these other guys, and they're just like, look, boop, 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 boop. And I'm like, can we go back to the first boop?
I tell you what, if you was to come on my stream with just a blanket hanging behind you, I don't care what color it is, okay, within reason, I could make the blanket go away and play any video you wanted playing behind you as a background.
Really?
With about 4 clicks of the mouse. It's very simple to do. It really is. Once it's kind of like electrical wiring. I was scared to death to take the cover off a breaker box and see all those wires and breakers going every which way.
Oh, yes.
Now that I understand how that works, I can take the cover off a breaker box with live power in it, change out breakers, hook up wires. I don't care. It don't matter. But I understand how it works. So it's the same with this.
I will tell you, I have worked with electricity and I kind of have it, but when I first started like tearing out walls, I'd be sitting there with 2 live wires going, I don't understand why I seem to have 2 live wires in my hand. So yeah, I have to be careful because I always think things aren't hard at first. And then it really is. I don't have an engineer's mind. I really don't. I can end up doing stuff, but then if something goes wrong, then I don't know what to do. Like if my speaker doesn't work, then I don't know what to do. Roger's better at this, I think, than me.
Yes.
Yes.
But Mel, I think I'm gonna have to take lessons from you pretty soon. So
Roger's going through the evolution now. He's upgrading his computer and everything, but he's stalled, Mel, because he can't get good connection to any service. And I know Mel has the same situation.
Wow. Yeah, see, I pay about $90 a month to get really good internet connection. I paid a lot. I got a gamer laptop so that it would be able to handle YouTube and other stuff I was doing with it. So I have all the stuff. Not sure how to use it. Roger doesn't have all this stuff, but he seems to be pretty good at using it.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, Mel, Jump Off had a question for you, Mel.
Yeah. Hey, Mel, why is it so dangerous for a drone to fly above water, say 6 feet? What makes the drone want to crash?
It depends on the drone. And it's not dangerous above how many feet? Where's the question?
6 feet. 6 feet.
6 feet. I've flown my Inspire 1 version 2 close enough for the water that if somebody splashed, it would get the camera wet. So I don't think it's dangerous.
There's a situation you can get in, and I don't know too many people that have the vortex state. In other words, where the downdraft is being dissipated faster than it's generating lift, but that's easily corrected just by keeping some motion going. You know, you just don't hover at 3 feet or a foot or whatever.
Unless they're talking about the downward sensing.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you turn off downward sensing, that problem goes away. Other than that, I've never had a problem doing it. I know people have, and I don't know how far away they were when they were doing it. If you're a long ways away, maybe your depth perception might get you in a little bit of trouble. But I've never put my drone that close to the water unless it was only 8 feet away from me where I could really get a good view of
Right.
how far above the water I was. And I put my drone with my camera that far above the water and not had a problem. So
I love this. Back from the sky. First thing with playing with electric is turn it off. Yeah, I'm really good at that now. I put all my fans for my roofs in. I change all the sockets. I do all that now. But the first time, oh, that was not good.
JDS, I'll challenge you on that one. I'll go open up the breaker box, no problem, and I'll pull out a black and a white wire, no problem. The other end of that black and white wire, I can also hold it in my hand, no problem. So I can do that many times as I want. Gotcha.
I fly over Lake Superior all the time. I'm not skimming the surface. Nice, a nice iron wedge. So Lake Superior and Lake Huron, those are part of the 7 Great Lakes. Are they in the same vicinity? I hate to say.
Now, Lake Superior is the biggest lake, and it's up to the north. It's like up between, goes over the top of Michigan, and it goes over to Wisconsin and that area over there, and Duluth, Minnesota, and all that. And it's the deepest. It's the biggest lake. Then you have Lake Michigan, which is off of Chicago, which is the west coast of Michigan, and it loops around to Mackinac Bridge. Then you have Lake Huron comes down this way, and it comes down to Port Huron, and then turns into the St. Clair River, heads south into Lake St. Clair, which is very small. Then that goes the Detroit River, goes past Detroit into Lake Erie. Then it turns and goes northwest up to
Northeast.
Northeast, exactly. Northeast up towards New York, Pennsylvania, that kind of thing, and it goes into Lake Ontario. Then Lake Ontario goes into the tributary that leads out into the. I think they call it the St. Mary's River. I think that goes out into the ocean.
Wow.
And somewhere along there is Niagara Falls.
Yes.
That's all the way on the other side of the country from me.
Yep. Yeah, most people think, Val, that you live on the East Coast, and you don't.
No, I live in Idaho, Boise, Idaho.
You live in Boise, Idaho?
I do.
Oh.
Now, I will say I spent years in Maryland, sometime down South Carolina. I spent a couple years in San Diego. But I've been here for 26 years, 28 years.
I moved from San Diego County to Tennessee in '99.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to tell you, I decided to move to a smaller town. I thought it's safer, and I was raising my firstborn, Michael. I just thought it was safer to have him in a place where I didn't have to worry about people just walking into my house. It was pretty bad in San Diego at that time.
I think it still is.
Well, it's different. I mean, one day I looked out of my little cottage, and there's some guy running down the alley with the whip. I thought, what the heck? Wrap my little boy up, and let's head up. Oh my gosh. Yes, I raised all 3 of my children. My other 2 were born in Idaho, Boise, Idaho. So I've been here.
Mel, you got a new fan.
I thought she lived up in Toronto or Canada somewhere.
Mel,
it's my leaf.
Mel, you got a new fan. You got a new fan, Mel. JDS said, "Foreign and AGL, you're a cool dude," in all caps.
Oh, that's because he was laughing about my grab the wire comment.
Oh, okay.
San Diego. Oh my gosh, my dad has a channel and he talks about San Diego way back during World War II, in Pearl Harbor, when they heard about that, and how many people would stay in that little teeny house his parents had because the war was on and everything. I got to tell you, it's fantastic. But yeah, San Diego has changed a lot. I mean, still beautiful, but it's changed a lot.
Yeah, there's no way. It's ridiculous to live in that state nowadays. The cost of
Very
living and
expensive.
the level. Oh, I can't say what I want to say. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I will say that I still have family down there. My dad's family is down there. The rest of my southern family is in South Carolina and Maryland, Virginia, and that's where a lot of them are. So I have people everywhere.
Everybody remember to hit that like button for Val. This is like a rebirth of Val's channel. So, coming and going lots of times, and I've done it, I forget, and then I have to look and say, did I hit the like button? Hit the like button and show Val some love.
Yeah, because if you don't, then Roger's going to ask for that donut he gave you this morning back. Because Roger just like that. You won't get your 10 cents he'll send you either. He really does charge people when they don't hit the like. I'm always running back to my channel going, oh my God, Roger's going to ask for his 10 cents back. Better hit that like. Oh, yeah. It is the potato country. It's the land of the best potatoes ever. It's here in Idaho.
Yeah, except that big truck keeps getting lost and that farmer keeps looking for it.
That is so funny and so true. You've been lucky, Val. You've had a chance to live different places, and you know where it is that you want to end up and be. And Roger is where he wants to be too. And I would say Mel is too, and I definitely am right here because it just is. It's home. We all know where home is, and just as great.
If it was up to me, I'd move to Vancouver or something like that, where it's a lot nicer. But on my pension, no way I'd survive in Vancouver. Too bloody expensive.
It's very expensive there. Okay, I am Wedge. Go check on your puppy. Oh, puppies are so cute. Yeah, I think that I wasn't sure I was crazy about Idaho. It didn't have, I lived outside of DC for many years. Growing up, went out to school out there, and I was so used to everything racing around. And then I got here to Idaho, and people go, look at all the traffic, and there was no traffic. There's some traffic now, but there was no traffic back then. And that was about 28, 29, 30, maybe 30 now, 30 years ago. And there was no mall. I was like, how do you live without a mall? And now I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to the mall. Who wants to go shop in the mall? And I'll go travel down to San Diego, back out to Maryland. And it's just way too fast for me. I just always can't wait to get home.
I live 10 miles from town. So it's a 10 to 15 minute ride for me to get to town to do any kind of shopping or anything like that. And halfway between here in town is a 4-way stop. So for me, on my way to town, a traffic jam is having to wait for someone to go the other way at the 4-way stop sign. It's brutal. I tell you, it's brutal.
Yeah, I tell you, they are just now really not. I think they need to work on how they do roads around here a little bit. But it's not like you're not getting home. I mean, it's 15 minutes to the airport. Here in Boise, it's pretty small still. So, Oh, Paul, you didn't have to do that. You're too sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nice, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Well, sometimes we have to support those people that make a difference, and Val does make a difference in a lot of people's lives, and I appreciate Val and Roger and everybody, and even Mel. I just think that we have to step up sometimes and just say, hey, here's $20 for your efforts, and hope that it helps you, move your channel forward.
It is going, I'll tell you where it's going to go. Because I talked to Roger about this. It's going to get my passport. It's really expensive to get a passport. And I told Roger I'd come see him so we can do a live stream in May or June. So that's
There
where
you go.
Paul. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
is-
well,
So you want to do a live stream with Roger?
yeah, I'm going up to see Roger.
Yeah.
You know, through movie magic, if I was to fire up my live stream right now, I could put you and Roger and Paul all in the same room.
Yeah, but then I couldn't hit Kim when I want to.
yeah, it's not the same. She wants to pet Roxy and then smack
Hit,
Kim.
hit Roxy and hit Kim.
Yeah, I can hit him like he's a pinata. You know, when I'm done.
Careful, Val. When you cross into Canada through customs, now they consider baseball bats lethal weapons. So
Hey, I was watching those shows they have on going into Canada, how mean they are at the border. I'm flying straight over that stuff.
and that's not even. I mean, that's just getting into Canada. Where it gets really difficult is coming back to the United States, for crying out loud.
Well, everybody should experience a strip search now and then.
Oh, Jim, you didn't have to do that thing.
Hey, Jim, how you doing?
He's so sweet. Oh, back from the sky. Thank you for coming in. Hey, listen, I know you guys have choices. Thank you for coming in and getting to know Paul Murray better and Mel and Roger. Thank you. Sorry,
Well,
not
You've
Chen.
still got more interview to do with Paul, right?
Yeah, always. Would you like to ask Paul some questions? And I want
no.
some really deep
Mel,
questions.
Mel.
Yes, Paul. What can I do for you, sir?
Mel, buddy. I don't think Mel doesn't have any real questions. I don't think. Do you, Mel?
He probably has some deep questions. He's trying to figure out what he's going to ask you.
Mel.
Jim, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I don't have any questions at this time. The defense rests.
I think we need to dive deep with Paul. Deep dive, guys.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, I'm going to jump back out again so that you can finish your interview with Paul. I'm going to go back to watching on the other monitor.
Mel is gonna self restrain himself. I think that's what's going on.
You don't get to see that? Okay, I'll stop because I'll put my own self in the corner.
Mel, you don't have to go on my account.
I'm just going to leave that one alone. After all, Val, I do know what a St. Andrew's cross is.
I'm not sure what that is. Is that a bad thing? He left. He said it and left.
He's
I don't know
gone.
what that is. What is that? Is that like a religious thing? Because we're not supposed to talk about religion?
You're gonna have to ask Father Roger.
No.
Roger doesn't tell me a lot of stuff I ask him. I ask him all the time stuff.
Maybe privately.
Yeah, because I asked him one thing and he told me once, and then I had nightmares for days. So I have to be careful what I ask Roger because he's always truthful. I go, what does this mean? And he'll go, well, this is what it means. And I'll be like, no. Oh my God.
Hodges drone wants to know, Paul, is there any ships moving?
Actually, right now, no. I checked. You can go. There's a good place to go to actually see ships movement all over the world. It's in live time, and it gives all the information about each ship when you click on it. It's marinetraffic.com, and when you first go on the first time, I think it starts out somewhere over in the Mediterranean or close to Africa or whatever, and then you just pan back across to your area, and you can zoom in and out. And when you put the cursor on each individual one, it'll tell you what it is, where it's headed, its speed, and then you can click on it, and it'll give you the lowdown on the ship, all everything.
Wow. So, guys, we've been on here 2 hours, and I have a question for Roger. Roger, are you going on tonight?
No.
You don't
Not
want to
tonight.
explain how you didn't pass the test?
Relaxing tonight.
I wrote a title for you.
He is
Pass the test.
Roger, you are on right now. You've been on for 2 hours.
Yeah. No, I'm relaxing tonight. Yeah. It's Val's night tonight.
It is. And everybody that's on here, make sure you hit the like button. And also, tell Val in the chat over there how much Val's Life's channel means to everybody, because I think it's just wonderful.
Well, I think you're really nice to say that, but I don't know. I think that there's really great channels out there. So
yeah, and you're one of them. You're the queen of live streaming, and Roger's the king, and everybody else is princes and princesses. But you guys are the epitome of where everybody wants to be.
Dangerous criminals. Hi. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Paul, but I've been away for 3 months. It's so hard to know, to kind of get it all
to get back in the saddle again, in other words.
Well, it's like riding a bike, Val. You never forget. You just get on and keep going.
Well, yeah.
And I think, Roger, don't you agree? Val did an excellent job tonight.
Yes, you did. Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that, but you're great to interview, so it's been wonderful.
Do I have to cry? Is that
No? Yeah. Actually, 400 has a question for you. It's a deep dive into your personality. Please, 400. When are you going to start live streaming?
I'm just the special guest kind of person that goes on and I think sometimes I think, is Roger getting tired of me coming on his channel? Or I don't think he is, but I also want my dear friend Roger to know, hey, if you get tired of having me on there, I'm a big boy, I can take it. But there's times when I see poor Roger on there all by himself, so lonely, I think, well, maybe I could get on there and add maybe a little bit of something to kind of help ease the pain, because Roger's on there for hours and hours and hours.
Well, I'll tell you, Paul, 3 months before I had the copyright strike, I was on Roger. Wasn't I on every day with Roger? Yep. I was on Saturday nights. Roger came on mine Sundays and Tuesdays. And we just really, really, it was just so much enjoyment, right? But then when I got the copyright strike, I read that I shouldn't be on. It took 2 months to counter that, so that they had to put me back on. And then I got sick, and I got to tell you, it's hard, but I just so appreciate all the guys that go on that channel with Roger, because it's much easier when you have somebody with you.
Yeah, it's always harder to be alone.
Yes.
And the other thing too is, what I noticed is when you were on with Roger, he was much happier man, because you added a lot to his channel and not only in your beauty but your intelligence.
Well, I don't know about that, but I will tell you, Roger, just over the past month or so has just, I mean, wham, his channel is just ballooning. And I tell you, I think it's because all the guys, I think it's what he's doing. I think Roger is a very smart man.
Oh, very,
And
and
he doesn't
kind
ever
heart.
tell you that.
Start making me blush here, so guys, stop it.
51%.
And
Roger. He
and
must.
he's kind-hearted, loving, caring, and he really, when he talks to everybody, it's from the heart. He's not fluffing anything.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, there were people that were not being very nice to me a few months back, and I told Roger, you don't have to have me on your channel anymore because I think it might hurt you because for whatever reason, I did not do really great at making friends and everything. Evidently, I sometimes don't. And Roger just said, no, you'll stay here and you'll be with us. And
Roger's that kind of guy.
that's why I just love Roger and Kim because they are, if they say they're there for you, Kim is.
Well, Roger, Kim, and Roxy, you know, they are such a trio on here.
Yeah, especially Roxy. I know Roxy loves me because I always talk about snacks.
Yeah, and who doesn't like cake? You know, it's like
I love cake.
Uh,
My wife never tells me that. I love you too. Well, Roger is a good friend to have, and that's why his channel is doing so well because people get that about him. They get that, and so they want to come back. And I appreciate Roger for that because not everyone's like that. Not everyone.
Bubs and Hobbs, how you doing?
And look at Roger's face. He's like, please don't say anymore because now I'm twirling in my chair. Like, but we love you, Roger.
Love you too.
Oh my gosh. Roger is like a big pussycat. But I wish Roxy would chase him and bite him on video. Oh my God, JDS, where do you come up with this? Yeah, Roger is super cool. Roger's very cool. Yes. It's about JDS. Oh, my head. Kim on the other hand.
Kim on the other hand.
I always have to tell Kim I'm going to treat him like a piñata and beat the jujubes out of him. That's why I have to get to Canada. We take my new stick.
Kim is a unique individual that tries to have kind of this gruff, harsh exterior, but he's really a softie on the inside.
Yes. He's always walking out with Roxy when she needs to go outside. And
yeah.
Yeah, he's so good.
And if he has to, he slip slides all the way down to the mailbox.
Oh, there was something I wanted to show you guys. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Kim says, you see the abuse I get?
Kim, you're a great guy too. There's no doubt about it. Canadian Drove Hub is built on the three of you, you and Roger and Roxy.
So here we go. This is what I got.
Oh, okay.
Look at Kim.
Yeah. So there's Kim. Hold on. Roger, and I am on the cup.
There you go.
And that's why, yeah, because, hey, Michael McReynolds, I was just showing it. The only thing is I thought this picture would be bigger. So I need to go in and fix that a little bit. But, yeah.
That's nice. Now all you need is a picture of Roxy below it looking up.
You know what? I should have. Paul did this picture, and then he worked on that for us, Louis P. Floyd. And so that's why, you know, we have some stuff in it. But yeah, I should have figured out a way to get Roxy in there. Now I feel bad. When I
We
I'll get Roxy in there.
we just won't tell her.
Right, don't tell her.
In
I want to
fact,
be fit when I go there.
Roger told me the other day that he's going to design a new item that he's going to have on his store. It's going to be Roxy bowls. It's going to have pictures of Roxy and Canadian Drone Hub that you can buy for pet bowls. You know.
Oh, that'd be cool. Mods and Hobbs, I've been great. Thank you for asking. And Wedge, you have a little puppy that's only a boxer. It's only 7 months old. So cute, so cute. My grandson just got a Labradoodle.
Ah.
Yeah. I don't know.
He got a what?
Labradoodle.
What the is that?
That's a cross between a Labrador and a standard sized poodle.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And they're very popular because they don't shed. They have this. They're the same
short hair,
non-shedding as a poodle.
Okay.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Here I am with the two biggest shedders. I have a Saint Bernard and a Husky Wolf Doggy.
Val, do you know that they have a Saint Bernard cross with the standard poodle too? I called a boodle or something like that, and it's the Saint Bernard and a standard poodle.
I did not know that.
It's huge.
Oh my God.
You actually letterbox. You get your letter from Nevada.
What are you getting from Nevada? What did I miss?
I don't know. I have a.
Out. Oh, nice. Phantom has a Dorky. I'm just imagining what that would look like. Ricky Dove sent me there.
Isn't that the kind of dog the Queen has?
A Dorky?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to call my dog Dorky.
Dachshund and a Yorkie. Yeah, Dorky.
Yeah. Oh, Dachshund and a Yorkie? Dorky. Okay. Going to get the X8 from Buy Me. I have a Dorky. It's a cross between a Dachshund and a Yorkshire Terrier. Yeah, you know, I just had my Saint Bernard and my Husky that was mixed with some big animal.
Well, Val, how big is the shovel you have to use to clean up after the Saint Bernard?
Well, I don't know because I send other people.
Ah, okay.
I'm like, give you a quarter. No. I'll put it like this, outside.
You see Tim in the springtime outdoors, the tractor and trailer picking up the dog's stuff there after the winter.
Yeah, the little love landmines.
Yeah.
Right? With those two dogs, I have a super huge backyard. For me, it's way too big. But for the dogs, it's perfect.
Well, it's great for you to do some flying in, though, right?
It really is. I love doing flying. My grandson's flown in the backyard too, so it gives us a lot of practice.
K9
I want to fly in the desert. What?
Yeah, Mods and Hobbs. K9 dunk. There you go.
I know. It's something. So guys, I have to say it's 7:30. Normally we stop at 7. I try to hold it pretty true to that. So I just want to say thank you. I know there are a lot of places you guys could go to. The fact that you spent it with me, I can't tell you how much that means to me, especially for the first interview in about 3 months almost. So, Roger, I adore you. Thank you for being able to do the modding on here for me, making sure I didn't miss anything. Paul, you are a wonder. I am so glad you came in and let me do do the chat with you, do this first interview. You're a champion. I love you. I really do.
I am truly humbled by your presence and Roger's presence, and anything that I can do for you in the future, never hesitate to ask, because we are family.
Yeah, we are. We are. And I just want to say, Mel, if you're out there anymore, thank you for coming on and just helping us just be able to understand the line of sight stuff. It's important, and I'm glad you were able to tell us why that was and coming on and just having some fun with us. Manic, you and I need to talk, because Tuesday, we got to talk about Tuesday. Okay, guys. I absolutely love you. Don't go anywhere yet, Paul. Don't go anywhere yet, Roger. Guys, I love you. Thank you so much. I'm truly humbled by my presence, JD, as of course you are. Of course. Mods and Hobbs, thank you. Wedge, Furball, Magic, Dangerous Criminals, all of you. So yes, so bad. Manic. I'm on to it now, Val. Good, good. I am Wedge. Thank you. And thank you for the story about how you got your hair into a wedge above you too. I am so glad. I am so glad that you came on too. Okay, later, my loves. I love you.
Make sure you all hit the like button.
Yeah, if you could, it's free. And Jim, my Jim, thank you so much. I'll talk to you later, guys. Phantom too.